But the story, one of the rumors is that he's already on his way to another team for next year. That he'll join Michael Kranifus and Tim Brewer and that collection. Haas. Stay tuned on that one, huh?
You think the ink's dry yet?
He's sure doing a job for Richard right now. Back in the main straightaway with Nemechek still in second. Nemechek seems to run very well in that car number 41. He's going to have his own team next year, and Ricky Craven will take over in that car 41 that's now in second place, the Hedrick car. Talk about that speed shot that you just saw as we watch the 26 continuing to work in 11th spot. Brett Bodine and Rusty Wallace. When you see them through that speed shot, how fast are they really going, guys?
Well, they're moving right along. I'm not exactly sure how quick they're going, but they must be hitting the top speed here of over 190 miles an hour.
Sachs into second. Bodine on the outside for third in number 7. Nemechek slides back a couple of spots here.
Well, yeah, looks like Bodine right now may have the fastest car on the racetrack again. I've been watching him. He's taking his time. He's not taking any chances, but he has really got that thing hooked up.
And an update on the situation regarding Ward Burton, who qualified on the pole, led early, cut down a tire apparently, and whacked the wall. Ward's been taken from the track to a local hospital for a precautionary checkover. They just want to look at him, run a few tests. We saw him climb out of the car, walk around on his own, says he feels pretty well, but they just want to check him to make sure. So Ward not at the racetrack at the moment.
Terry Labonte giving us these pictures from Kellogg's car back in 4th spot.
It's a pretty good mix between the Hoosiers and the Goodyears right now. They have the Goodyears 1st and 4th, with the Hoosiers 2nd and 3rd.
Pretty good mix in cars, too. Pontiac 1st, Ford 2nd and 3rd, Chevy's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, including Schrader. And Rudd in the Ford back in 8th, and Michael Waltrip's Pontiac is 9th, and a Chevy in 10th. Wow. So we're 59 laps deep into the running of the Mello Yello 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. John Andretti getting challenged. Here's Sachs going for the lead. Rolls right up through, and along with him's coming Bodine.
I guess the Hoosier cars decided it was time to go. Terry Labonte taking a look out there too.
John Andretti falling back to 4th as Dale Jarrett's going to move on him too, coming out of that 4th corner.
See if he can get back in line now and maintain the 5th position.
Yeah, he slid back in there. Hold up to 5th. Andretti. Sachs leading. Bodine 2nd. Terry Labonte in 3rd, and here comes Bodine on the outside. He's trying for the 1st spot, going into 3. Back comes Sachs. Don't think he can carry it.
I think when these guys get somebody up on the outside of them, they're a little bit cautious. They saw what happened to Bobby Labonte in the opening laps, and they don't want to experience that, losing all the air off that rear spoiler. They're going to be a little bit wise when they're forced down on the inside.
We'll talk to Ricky Craven about that. He had a lot of that experience yesterday in the 300 miler. But for the moment, Bodine is in front. It is Sachs going into 2nd. Terry Labonte is in 3rd. Dale Jarrett 4th. John Andretti 5th. Nemechek 6th. Schrader, Rudd, Michael Waltrip, and Marlin the top 10. First 100 miles to bed. We're at lap 69, which will be 103.5 miles, with Bodine leading for the 18th race this year out of the 25 that have been run. It's Jeff Bodine out in front, looking a little further back there. You see Nemechek in 7th. That's Rudd in 8th, Wallace in 9th, and right behind him, Sterling Marlin in 10th. Michael Waltrip 11th, and then Dale Earnhardt back in this skirmish. He's come from 38th and 39th in the early going. Rusty Wallace stays 9th. There's the 77. Greg Sachs in 3rd. Jarrett's with him. Ken Schrader on the tail end of that in 5th.
Sachs has really taken a high line through turns 3 and 4. He must be finding something up there that works a little bit better for his race car.
And Andretti has dropped back to 6th. Randy can tell us more about the 77 car.
Well, he is on Hoosiers today, Ken. Speculation was Hoosier could run about 50 laps before it really started to fade. Goodyear maybe closer to 60. The tires that came off of Sachs's car right after that first caution, I deferred my tire expertise to Tony Furr, the crew chief of this car. He said they were absolutely fine, so not too bad a tire wear for Greg Sachs and his Hoosiers. We'll have to check on the Goodyears to see what they're like.
Here's Jarrett working on Schrader. We'll get that Goodyear update for you shortly. It's the old Harry Gant line out there, Cale. That's 77 that Sachs is using. That way outside, easy roll, like what he won with in '82.
Yeah, Harry always did like that high groove. But usually, you know, the quickest way around a racetrack is down at the bottom if you can stay down there and the car's handling good. But Greg's car looks like it's working well higher, but most cars are running better down low.
Jeff Burton, running in 28, has just brought number 8 on pit road. That's Jeff Burton, the leading rookie this year. But look at this bike. Talk about speed. They sure got it here in Charlotte. As you watch Schrader and Dale Jarrett, 3rd and 4th. And it looks like the 2 has moved up on the 43, and here comes that number 3 as well. The battle everybody's come to see between Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt. Another time. With Mark Martin back in 13th.
Not a lot of separation from Schrader in the 3rd position all the way back to Gordon in the 15th position. That whole group of cars are pretty close together.
Look at Dale Jarrett down on the inside in 3rd spot. Schrader posted on the outside in 4th. And Rusty Wallace is rolling in number 2.
You must see Earnhardt coming.
Loy Allen is pitted car number 19. This is lap 74. Here's your struggle. Jarrett low side, high side, Schrader. And Wallace looks them over at 190 miles an hour.
Rusty's just sitting there wanting to know which one of you guys is going to go.
That's right.
Because he's wanting by.
They string him out again through 4. Take a look at the 18 car right here. John Andretti's coming out of pit road. Watch this replay.
Nope.
That's a handful.
That's that 180-mile-an-hour wiggle.
That's right. It almost got away from him.
Down to Dick Berggren.
John Andretti, who had been leading, is taking an unscheduled pit stop. This is 10 laps too early. The problem, they thought they had a right front tire going down. The car started pushing into corners. They decided to change 4 tires. He is gone. He is down a lap, though.
19-1 and away.
That was a good call by John Andretti, though, because if it were going down, it might have just been 1 or 2 laps, and what happened to Ward Burton may have happened to John. You just can't take a chance on it.
And for the first time this afternoon, breaking into the top 10, 20 is in the wall. Jimmy Hensley in there today for Randy LaJoie. Brings out the 2nd caution of the afternoon.
That's a misfortune for John Andretti there. He's probably down a lap now.
Out of 4. That is a bad break for Richard Petty and Andretti. Randy LaJoie crashed hard in his Grand National car.
Kyle Petty's car doesn't seem to be up to speed today. He went down a lap when we were away at break, and I see him now in the pits under the green flag with the hood up just before this caution came out. So
First car to be lapped.
Kyle having a tough week here at Charlotte.
Jimmy Hensley taking over today for Randy LaJoie, who had a terrible crash in practice. Took a slight concussion. He's been out here both days, but both days elected to have someone else in the car. So the 20 is out. Looks like they say he went up into the wall by himself. See the right front battered on that one. Looks like the end of the day for the Moroso car, Finalou car. That was at lap 76. We're in 77 at the present time. Leaders should be pitting with Jeff Bodine bringing him down. Labonte, Schrader, Wallace, Jarrett, Sachs, Marlin, Michael Waltrip, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, the top 10. Change that, move Rudd into the, rather Earnhardt into that top 10 with a shuffle. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Jeff Bodine is coming in for his pit stop now. They're going to take 4 new tires on it. Paul Andrews puts a half a round of wedge in the back end. That's probably not going to change the car as much as the tires, however. The most important change that happens in one of these pit stops is the air pressure on the tires. They think they might have an electrical problem on this number 7 car. They're shutting things off on the dashboard to try to save whatever they can in terms of electrical energy.
Everybody back out on a beautiful pit stop by Jeff Bodine's team. He leads the field back onto the track in lap 78. So we'll sort the field out for you and be back for more of the action after this caution period, second of the afternoon, third of the afternoon, after these messages.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? October 10th, 1982, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Harry Gant's car number 33 charged into the lead after starting on the pole. But Winston Cup title contender Bobby Allison quickly moved his number 88 car to the front to battle with Bill Elliott in the 9. David Pearson driving the 03. On lap 231, Gant blew a tire and gave up the lead to Bobby Allison. But who won? Here's a list of the contenders. We'll have the winner when we come back. Right, here's how things unfolded. Gant recovered from his blown tire and moved through the pack to challenge Bobby Allison for the lead. Allison's motor let go with 10 laps left. Caution came out and Gant pitted, getting fresh tires, while Bill Elliott, the only other driver on the lead lap, remained on track to take the lead. 4 laps to go, Harry Gant pulled away and outran Bill Elliott to pick up his first Super Speedway victory. Who Won is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. Still under caution at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, working into the 80s now in our lap count today. Jeff Bodine leading before that caution. Let's show you where we're going to be here on TBS Sports next year on the Winston Cup Trail. We go back to work in March in Richmond for the Pontiac Excitement 400. Back here at Charlotte Memorial Day weekend, the Coca-Cola 600 on the 28th. Back to Pocono July 16th, the Miller Genuine Draft 500. We return for the Saturday night show in Richmond in September, the Miller Genuine Draft 400. 1 year from today, the Mello Yello 500 right back here on TBS at Charlotte, North Carolina. Jeff Bodine was on pit road. He led the field off pit road and back onto the racetrack, but Dick Berggren standing by at Jeff's pits. Dick, is there more problem with that car?
Well, they hope there's no problem with it right now, Rick. You know, you've heard about drivers having ignition systems that they can switch. Believe it or not, Jeff Bodine has 2 batteries in this car. And when the ignition started to not work properly, he switched to the second battery and says now everything seems to be running just fine. But they do have their fingers crossed for sure in the number 7 pit.